Final Fantasy 13 1 is one of the coolest looking games for the Final Fantasy line that I've ever seen. Things look so great in it. Also, there's some stuff from Star Ocean in there too. Okay, you get powers from eventually you get magical powers from tattoos. And you're in a super futuristic environment with running around swinging swords. That's awesome. If only they got the fighting. You've only got the Star Ocean fighting style there too, where it's basically you lock on. You basically press a button to attack an enemy after you lock on to them. That would be so cool. I look forward to seeing that sometime. Anyway, I really like Final Fantasy 13. At least mostly. The only problem was that there were certain bad guys that you have to attack in certain ways. I guess I'm having trouble right now. I still have to figure out how to do this properly. Where Snow is supposed to fight against those two Shiva sisters, and I don't know exactly how he's supposed to do it. He's not, Master should have trained him more or something. But they like defensive abilities, and you're not doing defensive ability, and it's I don't know what's that like. Maybe it's like a counterattack thing, you guard, they attack, you counterattack, I don't know. Eventually they're like, oh, okay, you win, you're great. That's how you do it, because obviously there has to be a way to defeat them, because if they didn't, this would be the end of the game right here. That would be the end of the game. So, but there's like a lot more out there, and it's great. So I really look forward to seeing these guys back together someday, because you have a lot of things going on here. You have Lightning, who is an awesome, tough as nails, cold as ice lady with an awesome sword gun, trying to mess around and save her sister Sarah. You have Snow, who's not as tough and cold as ice, or tough as he's trying to be tough as nails, but not as cold as ice. He's trying to be a good hero and stuff, and having trouble with that though. He's trying to save Sarah as well because he's her fiance. At least in the first one. Anyway, you have Saz, who's mostly just trying to stay alive, and in my opinion, is the best black guy in Final Fantasy history. He's mostly just trying to be a normal guy, trying to stay alive and save his son, who's in trouble, working with the bad guys unwittingly. And it's great. It was one of the coolest things ever. Vanille and Fang are trying to just, are people from Pulse. Oh yeah, in the Final Fantasy world, you have Pulse and two worlds. Pulse and Cocoon. Pulse is the big giant is the jungle planet. Where it's the jungle planet that Cocoon is suspended above. And that jungle planet, everything's all wild. People think there's no chance of survival. Technology is pretty medieval. Not even close to medieval. It's more caveman at this point. It's more caveman like at this point. I mean, a little bit medieval, but mostly caveman. And jungle and like and stuff. And on Cocoon, of course, everything's super high technology. You got sword guns, got guns of all kinds of different things. It's so great. It's so wonderful. But of course, people hate the people from Cocoon hate people of Pulse, and anyone who's they think is infected with whatever kind of thing. Like a Pulse, there's a Pulse. Oh yeah, in the world there are these things called fal'Cies, which basically are giant statue wild Zords, wild Zord statues. They basically with magic. They basically uh there's like ones that are from Pulse, and they basically give they oh yeah all these fal'Cies give will tattoo people or brand people that they want to protect them with these brands that with these tattoos that give them magical powers. The problem is, of course, if they don't, and also they give them a vague dream of what they're supposed to do with these things, with these magical powers. If they don't do that, what they're supposed to do within the right amount of time, within whatever they're supposed to do in the right amount of time, then they will turn into monsters, mindless monsters. If they do, then they will become crystallized, and that leads to some crazy scenes, crazy scenes, including one where Saz's son Dodge, who got tattooed accidentally by one of these things, inadvertently by one of these things, figures out his focus. That's what they call it, focus. He figures out his focus, and then it's turned into, it is basically encased in crystal. Much to Saz's dismay. And dismay, and it is really crazy though, because he's like, "Oh God, come back!" No, it was great. It was wonderfully dramatic and awesome, And I really hope they figure out that they need to be together. Everybody, it's Final Fantasy 13. The team needs to stay together. separating one character out does not work as well. It can work a little bit. It doesn't work as well as having them all together. So that lightning being all, cold as ice and tough as nails is someone to play off of. Okay, needs to be done. Okay, yeah, Sarge, yeah, Snow is trying to be a hero. Hope, who's sad. Hope and Vanille and Fang, who are angry, and everybody actually is angry because their things are bad things are happening in their life, and they're feeling seeing they're kind of powerless to stop it. It's a lot of good cool stuff, cool stuff in there going on, very deep, heavy, emotional stuff that needs to be in more Final Fantasy games. Also wouldn't mind seeing Final Fantasy games control like a Tomb Raider game. That wouldn't be bad either. They could totally do it. That'd be great. That'd be awesome. But anyway, they might say company now, so that's great. Anyway, though, still, Final Fantasy 13-1 is really awesome, and I look forward to seeing more games like that, more Final Fantasy games like that, Well, that's what they need to do. Best and the worst. The best thing about Final Fantasy 13 is the whole team. This entire team together doing stuff. Each character is awesome in their own way, and then together they do all kinds of stuff. And of course, the bad guy, Barthandelus, the main bad guy of the story, Barthandelus, is one of the coolest bad guys in Final Fantasy history. He looks like an evil wild Zord, like if they had a Black Panther Zord, that'd be him. It'd be so great. See him come back. Oh my goodness! One of my fantasies is that young girl wearing nothing but like white, like a white dress or some kind, has him as her summon. So it'll be like a girl with black hair, pale skin, and a white dress summons this giant black metallic panther Zord looking thing. It'd be so great with the bunch of guns in his face. I like that guy. I like him. I like to look at that guy. He's so much fun, and he gets one of the coolest theme songs ever in Final Fantasy history. I was so happy to see that. There was still, creativity in Final Fantasy. Great. And so I'll see. Yeah. So yeah, best thing about it is this team hanging out and all kinds of cool stuff happening with them. Worst thing would have to be, let me see, separating them. There are parts where you're separated, and no, I don't mind if it's like two different people separated from the team. But then there's this part where Snow's separated, and you really play as him, and he's just by himself trying to do something, and then you're stuck fighting against the Shiva sisters by yourself, and you can't do it. It's not fun. It's not fun. No, that's the worst. The worst is when they're separated. Okay, which makes me bring up, of course, the new Lightning games, Final Fantasy 13, 2 and 3. Lightning is separated from everybody else. At least some of the time, and it's not fun because she has no one to play off of. It's just her being cold as hard as nails, and cold as ice, and it's like, why? I'm gonna go deeper, depth of that in my Final Fantasy 13 Light Returns, best and the worst thing. So I'll see you next time on the next episode. Check out my stuff on YouTube and DeviantArt.